In this video, I'd like to do just a little bit of an overview of kind of what's been going on with my COMC account. I've made a handful of videos here and there over the past couple of months, just outlining how certain events have gone for me. But I thought I would just spend a little time looking through my account with you and just kind of seeing what's going on, just because it's interesting. So let's get into this. All right, so if you've been following this channel, this amount of money that's in my credit right now, in my store right now, has never happened before. Usually, I've talked in the past how sometimes I do try to add up store credit over time, and I will try not to spend all of it. I'll build up a little bit, I'll spend some of it, but always try to have some amount that's gradually increasing that I'm keeping as credit. As this number has been getting higher, I've actually been starting to send myself actual cash for the first time. I've sent myself about $1,500 on top of this money that's coming in right now. So that's quite nice for me. And you can see, the total sales I've made since I started this account in 2021, I think September or October 2021, something like that. I can look a little bit later. Has been $40,000, more than $40,000. So that's pretty cool to me. I mean, most of this sales are, a lot of this is from flips. I mean, I think I've put in about $2,000 in actual cash into my account throughout the years, maybe even just that one time at the very beginning. But after that, my sales, a lot of time, the sales that would come in, I would end up selling those and then I would buy other cards with them. You can see here that over time, I've bought this many cards. I've sold this many cards, I've bought this many cards on the platform, and I've added this many cards to the site. So that's quite a few. So in total, I've bought in some way or another 11,000 cards that I'm trying to sell on the platform or send to myself for my PC or to sell elsewhere. And I've sold this many. So I still have about 2,800 items in inventory, and about 1,000 of them are not for sale. That's because I have this big batch here of cards ready to ship back to me. A lot of these I'm going to ship back to me, but a lot of them are also cards that I am kind of just holding off on, that I'm seeing how some of them do in the COMC live auction sale, some different like old vintage baseball cards that are making me a couple bucks here and there. So I'm slowly selling off some of these in some of those COMC live auctions. And eventually, once it seems like I would like to send the rest of these back to myself, I will send them back to myself. Some of them are, a lot of these actually are vintage baseball cards that I was going to flip in batches. I bought all these Ken Griffey Jr. cards for 40 cents, for example, that I thought, I could probably put together a stack of 50 Ken Griffey Jr. cards and sell them for $2 a piece, $3 a piece, but in like one lot. And somebody might want that sort of thing. So, I thought something like that might be something I would try. I also have a bunch of these old kind of baseball commons that I thought also I could put in like a 1961 Topps batch and sell them and probably get more than this 50 cents a card that I'm buying them for on here. So that's some of the things I'm trying with that, just to see how it works. So a lot of them are those kind of lower end cards like that. But some of these I'm putting right up for auction on COMC live auctions. Some of these vintage commons, sometimes they sell for 99 cents, but sometimes they'll sell for $9.99. I think overall I'm probably making a little bit of profit on some of those that I'm selling through COMC live auctions. Whether I would recommend that to other people or not, it's hard to say. I mean, even just for myself, I try to limit it to only putting like 2 or 3 or 4 on an auction, because I think if you do more than that, if there's too many of these, baseball commons from the 50s or 60s on an auction, like there's a limited demand. So I think, if there's too many on there, they don't do that well. So I only submit maybe 4 or something to an auction. And then a lot of the other cards I have that aren't for sale, so I'm pretty sure this 594 is included in this number. And then the rest of them are like doubles, triples, quadruples of certain cards that I have. There's some cards I have like 17 of, but I drip sell them. I don't want to like overload the system with just my cards. So I'll put 1, like that's the lowest offer, or 3 maybe at a time. Every once in a while, if it's a really cheap card, I might put 6 up or something, but never more than that, because nobody's going to want to buy, or very rarely going to want to buy more than 6 at a time. And I'd rather drip sell it so it's not kind of overloading the inventory and making it just look like the supply is so extremely high. I have about this many items for sale, and I kind of try to keep in this range. If I am getting low, then I'll think about sending in some more cards from off platform. But I also don't want it to get too high, because I do have to pay a cent per card that's for sale if it's over 74 cents. So I don't know how much I'm paying per month right now, because some of these are under 74 cents and I'm not having to pay that 1 cent. But I'm probably paying $15 a month for these cards, and then another $11 for the enhanced security fee. So I am probably paying $15 or $16 a month And so I try to keep this number down so that I don't have to be paying too much per month. If I was trying to do this more like full time or something, I might not worry about that so much and just send in more. You can see my total asking price I have in here is a little more than 15,000. And this is the number I've talked about before. This means nothing. So it says the total SRP, the standard retail price, or whatever their estimated value is 12,000, but that's only on, there's this many of them don't have any SRP at all of the 2,822. And then that number also means nothing, because sometimes there's an SRP of $35 for a card that will sell for $5. So it really means nothing. So I ignore that completely. Let me go look at my seller stats by month. You can see here, so I started September 2021 with just a few sales, and I was making, $200, $300, $400, $500 a month there. This period of time right here, that was a no minimum bid auction fee event that I was doing quite well on back then, 2 years ago. That's why I made a video about my more recent experiences with that, and how it didn't go nearly as well as it did back then. But back then it was doing well, and that got me putting in a bunch more, buying a bunch more, flipping a bunch more, and I did pretty well for a while there. Considering how much I was putting in. And then I kind of slowed down. August 2022, let me think. It was around this time, around August 2022, that I was starting to slow down in a number of things. We were kind of getting prepared to move back to America. I was trying to not buy as many cards, so I wasn't sending as many cards. I was still buying some and sending some, but I was slowing down on things. So that was kind of through this whole process all the way until we moved to America up here. We moved to America right around this time. So I continued to sell off just as, what I had in my platform. I wasn't adding in too much. I think I started adding in more again around here when I got another batch of cards from China and sent it in. I made a video a long time ago, took like 2,000 cards into COMC's, at a card show I went to. And then those kind of came through. And then it was here, you can see the numbers starting to get a lot bigger. And this is really when the COMC live auction event began, where I've been selling a lot more cards since then with a lot more money. We're right now at February 14th, so about halfway through the month, and I've sold this many. You can see I've slowed down a little bit this month from the previous months because I'm being a little bit more picky. Some of that profit is actually losses, net losses on cards that didn't sell so well. But you can see I have been picking up pace on how many sales I've been making. And despite the fact that I've also got still 1,700 cards in my system, which is not too different, so I've been selling and buying at a pretty reasonable, the number of cards I'm selling and the number of cards I'm buying are still kind of even, but I'm making a lot more profit right now, which is nice. We can go ahead and take a quick look through some of my recent sales. I don't know, a lot of these, if they say eBay over here, they're probably either through the COMC no minimum bid auction event, which is still, even though that finished 2 weeks ago, they still have a backlog of cards that are selling through that. So this one, for example, did sell through that. So if it says eBay, it's either through that or it's through the COMC live auction event. Anything you see that ends with a 99 or with a 24, that is almost for sure through the COMC live auctions. And then if it has a number like this where the sale price and the COMC credit are different, then that means it just sold through a buy it now on the platform itself. So as we look through some of these, you can see, I'm selling a lot more per day. You can see all of these. This is today's date right now. It's only 10:24 in the morning right now when I'm making this video. And you can see already how many of these videos, or how many of these cards sold on today's date. And then yesterday's date, you can see, this is all yesterday as we go down. Some of these cards you can see though, the COMC live auction event can be really hit or miss. This is a orange parallel rookie of Zion Williamson that goes for $1.99, or this, True Talents Kobe Bryant goes for $1.99. Why? I don't know. A few of these cards, this Paulo Banchero Origins rookie goes for just $2.99, 99 cents for a PSA 9 rookie of DeAndre Hunter, $13.99 for Kevin Garnett, so that did pretty well. Or look at this Cade Cunningham Ice Prism. This one sold for $25 on an eBay live auction one time, and this time it sells for $3.99. So you can see some losses in here. And then you can see some gains. Like, look at this one, bought for $3.40, sold for $29.99. So I've made entire videos about the craziness that is those eBay live auction events. They really can be all over the place, and you'll see evidence of that quite often when you're in here. I mean, like these two next to each other, I find fascinating. This is a PSA 9, and it goes for the same price as this, this base Topps card of Michael Jordan right next to each other in the same sale. And this other one goes for $4.99. So you never know what you're going to expect. This one I sold for like $9.99 last time I sold it. Sold for $2.99 this time. Walter Payton numbered cards had done really well for me a few times, but not that time. And other cards do really well for me. So just looking through this one page, you can see we're still on the 13th here, which is yesterday. So I think yesterday I made like $350 in sales or something, and I am making a solid $200 a day, not in profit, but in sales, which is really nice. I'm really finding that to be helpful. I'm kind of giving myself a certain amount. At the moment, I'm thinking I'm going to send myself about $500, maybe $750 per month in my COMC credit. I don't want to do more than that, but I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of like a regular monthly thing where I'm bringing it back. So you can see these are my sales. If you really were paying attention, you probably saw eBay on almost, like if you look over here, you can see eBay on almost all of them at this point. Most of my sales are coming through the eBay live auction event. Now we're down to the 8th. So this is kind of what's been going on these days. Oh, looks like that one. Now, this is a crazy one too. This is another example of a card that had sold. This one sold for like $25 the last time I sold it. Now it's sold for $2.99. Or this one right here. This one also had sold for like $23 or something last time. This time it sold for $2.99. So you never know what you're going to get when you go through the COMC live auction. Sometimes it's frustrating and sometimes it's like crazy good. It's a wild ride, but it certainly makes the movement faster, and it does add this up over time. So that's something. All right. So anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Peace.